America's Voice Now is essentially dedicated to making sure that we are self-reliant, self-sufficient, educated, informed, motivated, and activated. The goal of what we do is to try to bring education information to you. Your job is to take that information and utilize it to the best of your abilities and try to make the most use of it. Then your job is to pay it forward and do the same to others and with others. Educate them, those people who are in your circle of influence, motivate them, activate them, and inform them. And hopefully we will pay this forward enough where, according to that earlier caller, we get an opportunity to compound our knowledge and our wisdom and our education and awaken enough of America that we can take our country back before we lose it altogether. One of the people that I have met, who is a local gal here in our community, has created a unique product, and I'm going to introduce you to her. Her name is Sherry Willis, and she is the creator, founder, designer, and developer of a product called fodder kits. And these are essentially the ability for you, to grow your own fodder, which can handle virtually any and all livestock that you would have, whether it's chickens or rabbits or whether it's a cow. These fodder kits are actually kind of unique. You can grow them in your own home, right in your living room. And she has units that are small enough to feed, 6 chickens or 6 rabbits, all the way up to this super duper size, which the super size model, which is actually big enough for you to feed a cow and a nursing calf. Now that's pretty impressive for something you can do in your living room. Beside the fact that you can grow fodder for your livestock, you can also grow fodder for your 2-legged livestock. That would be your wife and your children, or your husband and your children. And you can actually produce, bean sprouts, or you can take this grass and wheatgrass, and you can make juice out of it and all kinds of things. So I'm going to introduce you to Sherry Willis. Sherry, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad to have you. You've been on with us once before during the week, but I wanted our listeners, because we actually have almost 2 different audiences. One is the week audience, during the course of the Monday through Friday, and then we have almost a separate audience that kind of listens to us on the weekend. So I wanted them to have a chance to get to know you as well. You have created a very, very unique product here, and you have a really great success story I want to talk about. And by the way, folks, the website is half-pint-homestead.com. That's half, like half of a loaf of bread. Then you put a dash in there, or a hyphen, whatever you want to call it. And then pint, like a pint of beer, homestead. Half Pint Homestead, and .com. And you can go on there and you can order these products. You can also order them directly from Sherry, and if you're in the area, and you can call her at 417-255-0722. Now, this is a kind of a hydroponic fodder kit, and what's cool about this is that it doesn't require any medium for you to grow these products. You can literally just drop these your seeds in a tray, and the way that this system works is it trickles the water down through these multiple trays, and each day you pull a tray's contents and you feed the entire tray, including all of the root mass and everything else, to your livestock, whether that's goats or chickens or rabbits or pigs or cattle or whatever. And I have to tell you, this is a very, very impressive product, and Sherry is an impressive entrepreneur. You can reach her, by the way, via email at Sherry, that's SHERRY, at half-pint-homestead.com. Here's the bullet points for this. 1, it's sustainable. So you can grow this every single day, and you can produce fodder every day for your livestock. 2, it is completely organic, because you know exactly what's on it and what's in it. 3, the real advantages to you are that you're going to be able to save a lot of money, and you're going to be able to reduce the waste that you have, because there's no medium. You don't need soil or anything else. And it provides much better nutrition for your animals than you would ordinarily be able to purchase if you were to go to a feed store, as an example. It's year-round, so because it grows inside your home. And so I think I'm hitting all the bullet points here, aren't I? Sherry's sitting over there saying, man, I'm not going to have anything left to say.
Oh, I always have stuff to say.
There you go. It also saves water. And so if you have a limited access to water and you don't have a well that you can tap off of, the upshot is this. This is a great product, and Sherry's got a really cool story. Here's what her story is. She started doing this in November of September. I apologize. September. Okay, so I'm making it sound a month better than it was. She started this business in September of 2012, folks. That's 6 months ago. In 2 months, she had to quit her job. And now she has shipped these to 48 out of the 50 states. Is that right?
Yes.
And five countries across the globe.
Yes.
I mean, wow, what a great story. I mean, this is really the American entrepreneurial spirit at work, right? You want to talk about American exceptionalism? Sherry is living proof of that. So, okay, tell us about the product and what most of the folks that are calling and ordering this, what are they telling you they want to do with it?
Well, I have kind of two separate markets. I have people who have lots of animals and are just having to either sell them or find a different way to feed them.
Right, especially with the drought we just had, right?
Yes, and the price of feed is just phenomenal right now.
Sure. Not to mention you have absolutely no idea what's in it.
Right, especially the pelleted feed.
Right.
Protein, they just have to tell you it's protein. They don't have to tell you
what kind of protein.
Right, they don't have to tell you if it's soybeans or if it's ground up baby chicks. They just have to tell you that it's protein.
You. Ground up baby chicks.
That is a major protein component in a lot of
feathers
feed.
And all?
Yes, they just throw them in a bin because when they sex them, people who buy pullets only, well, when they hatch them, half of them are male chickens, and
they don't want them.
They don't sell, so they just throw them in a bin.
Who wants a rooster?
No. Well, you only need one rooster for 10 hens or whatever, and most people want eggs. So if they're not a meat breed, egg breeds don't grow out well.
Right.
They throw them alive in a big pile and just down in a bin and let them start suffocate, and then they grind them up for.
Hello.
Yeah, it's a horrible thing, and part of it is because people, when you buy only female chickens, only pullets, that's a result of.
So you buy only pullets, and they turn all the rest into pellets.
Exactly. So that's one of the results. It's a direct result to your purchase of only female chickens.
Okay, so your product will feed chickens.
Yes.
And it will also feed pretty much any other type of livestock you've got out there, whether it would be goats or pigs or rabbits, cow, pretty much whatever's out there, right?
Right. The cows and the horses and the rabbits and the goats will still need hay.
Sure.
Because the fodder has almost no roughage.
Their rumination system requires that they have roughage.
But it doesn't have to be good hay. And it's really hard to find hay at all, much less good hay. So Sure. And right now, with the drought that we've had over the last, it looks like it's starting to break, thank goodness, for the farmers. Right. But, if we have another drought like that this summer, this is the perfect solution for that because you have basically all the fodder that you need growing right in your living room. Right. So. Well, and the other thing is just because our drought breaks doesn't necessarily mean it breaks everywhere. Texas has been in a drought for years, and what happens is they have to import hay, so it raises the prices for everyone, right? Even though it's not happening here. Sure. So. Kind of like the idea of growing corn and then turning it into alcohol, where we can instill it in our gasoline. And by the way, for every gallon that we make of ethanol, it costs us about 1.5 gallons of gasoline to produce that, which is like. Does that make sense? Right, that's some kind of math I'm not familiar with, but okay. Well, that's a government thing. That's a government monopoly. When you spend $1.50 for every dollar you make, I suppose that it, kind of carries over. We have an entire federal and state government, 50 state governments and a federal government that operate under that principle. Right. Let's spend our way to prosperity.
Sherry, on this system, when I'm looking at the website, you can customize this thing as big or as small as you want. Is that right? Yes, I have quite a few options, and I'm working on another kit that will feed between 10
like 10 chickens too. But you can buy, say you don't know how much you need, you can buy an expandable 6-tray kit and then later get a module to make it bigger.
That's smart.
Because people don't always know what they need. And also, one of the factors of farming is, you grow pigs for 6 months and then you slaughter them, and then all of a sudden you don't need all that feed.
Right. But the cool part is, so then you just stop throwing the seed in there.
Well, you have to actually size your system down. You can't run it with empty trays. It has to be full, or it makes a mess.
Right, but I mean, if you've slaughtered Wilbur,
right,
you don't
right.
need the feed anymore. The fodder anymore.
No. So,
I mean, at least until another Wilbur
right.
Part 2 comes along.
Wilbur.
And then I also sell the plans with
right.
tech support for people who are handy.
Sure.
And I sell a kit that has the plans and all the pump and the hard to find components, and then people just take they build it with the PVC that they can get at any plumbing store.
So the framing, folks, here is made out of PVC, but Sherry has really taken this to the next level with these trays that she's done some custom work to, and her plans give you the idea on how you can do that yourself if you want to be able to source the product locally, the equipment locally, and then she'll just sell you the pump and the parts that you physically would have a hard time getting a hold of because she's done all the homework and sourcing of that herself already. The kicker here is that the 6-tray kit produces up to 15 pounds of fodder per day, and it takes up less than 4 square feet of floor space. It uses about 40 gallons of water per week, and it uses about 36 watts of electricity per day. This system costs less than $270 to have delivered to your home. And that is just, assuming you don't live in Zimbabwe. And that is just outstanding. The 18-tray kit will actually provide a lot more. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'll give you the stats directly. Hang on a minute.
The area's best selection of firearms, ammunition, and accessories can only be found at West Plains Pawn and Jewelry.
Online at westplainspawn.com.
Top of the line new and used optics from Nikon, Leopold, Burris, Redfield, Zeiss, and Schmidt & Bender. Ask about their selection of binoculars, laser sights, and night vision goggles. With new arrivals every week, the area's best selection of firearms, ammunition, and accessories can only be found at West Plains Pawn and Jewelry, 1713 West US Highway 160, or shop online at westplainspawn.com.
We believe the better the ingredients, the better the taste to bring to you the greatest tasting pastries possible. At Chantilly's Artisan Bakery, we use organic, locally sourced, and natural ingredients of the highest quality. Every item is handcrafted and baked fresh for you each and every day. Visit Chantilly's Artisan Bakery, number 2 Evans Arcade on the Courthouse Square in downtown West Plains. Or call ahead 255-2253. Be sure to like and follow Chantilly's Artisan Bakery on Facebook.
Okay, folks, we are back after that brief interlude of capitalism. And, of course, that's what keeps us on the air, right? So if you are interested in being a part of our capitalist program here, you can advertise with us here on America's Voice Now. You can send me an email to mike@americasvoicenow.org, and I will get you information on how you, too, can be a sponsor of our program and drive new business to your place of business while also supporting a program that really provides a benefit to the community. So Sherry is the entrepreneur and the purveyor of the Half Pint Homestead, and you can find her on the web at half-pinthomestead.com. That's half like half a loaf of bread, dash or a hyphen, your preference, and then pint like a pint of beer, homestead, HOMESTEAD.com. You can also reach Sherry via email at sherry@half-pinthomestead.com. And you can also call her and order one of her kits pronto mondo. And you can do that by calling 417-255-0722. Sherry, by the way, is spelled SHERRY. Guess I should have said that. Okay, so here's the stats for you analytical mathematicians out there. A 6-tray kit will produce up to 15 pounds of fodder per day, takes up 4 square feet of floor space, uses 40 gallons a week, and 36 watts a day. A 12-tray kit will produce up to 30 pounds of fodder and takes up 6 square feet, An 18-tray kit produces up to 45 pounds of fodder per day, people. That takes up 6 square feet of floor space. And you have, is that the supersized version, or the supersized version's even more, right?
No, that's the biggest size.
Okay. By the way, you could run 2 of these.
You can. There is a
Don't
limit.
discourage them. Maybe they have 2 cows that are nursing.
Well, it's just that when you get to a certain point, you need to just go to a commercial unit that's designed for a large farm. This is really designed for a smaller farm that has smaller animals.
Okay, gotcha. So it's ideal for the self-sustaining, self-reliant, or sustainable home farm. It's really, right. I mean, we're not running a dairy farm on this.
No,
right? And I get it.
There were already products like that. I didn't want to reinvent the wheel.
That's why it's called Half Pint Homestead.
Exactly, because right. I actually
not 55-gallon drum homestead.
Oh, come on now, those are fun too.
Yes, but most people don't need most people don't need a tractor trailer to go grocery shopping.
Not
right?
usually.
Most of us can live with a minivan or even a Volkswagen Rabbit.
Right.
So if you are raising rabbits or chickens or goats or 1 cow, just that you're either doing, providing your own dairy products with mm-hmm. and or occasional meat when, whatever, this is the perfect solution for that.
Correct.
And, you're selling these, you've sold these in 5 what are the countries that you've sold these to?
I've sold one in Bermuda.
Okay.
One in Egypt.
Okay.
One in India, one in the Philippines, and one in Sweden.
Outstanding. So I would imagine that this could be all the rage in a place like India, where you've got major cities, and if you think about it, around here we're not accustomed to having livestock animals in our homes.
Yes.
But in many places wait until the financial collapse, right, and we'll all be living with chickens.
Right.
But in most places around the world. And we, even if you don't want to call them a third world country, I mean, India is fast falling away from the third world country
right.
concept, right? But in many countries, it's very, very common to have livestock in your home with you. Uh-huh. People actually have chickens running around literally in the same living space that they live in.
Right.
And so this is the perfect solution for that, because they don't have any arable land that they can grow on, and they may not even have, even in New York, you can get a postage stamp, right?
Right.
But try that in Bhopal, India, or New Delhi, and you're dreaming.
Right. Well, because everything's stacked on top of everything
Exactly.
else, so.
Exactly. So, this is the perfect solution for countries where livestock is still their primary source of food, and a lot of places don't have refrigeration and electricity as well, right?
Right.
And so they can't go to a market every day. And this gives them an opportunity to grow it and take it out and back and, do the old head chop.
Sherry, I got another question about this, too, is that you're raising this stuff, and so you're feeding the animals healthy fodder that doesn't have a bunch of chemicals in it. It doesn't have, pesticides and all that kind of
hormones.
Stuff. Right. Well, because and one of the beauties of this system is it allows you to cut out the middleman. In the summer after the grain harvest, it's likely you can find a local farmer who has grown wheat and buy directly from them. So first of all, you get a break on the price. And second of all, they actually get more than 15 cents on the dollar, which is what the average farm gets for food products. They get all of that money. That's
right.
for them.
So now they're making 100 cents on the dollar.
So you know where it came from. You can look them in the eye and say, okay, how did you take care of this? Did you spray it with this? And you see that grain whole, and then you see it growing. So you know exactly what's in it.
Unfortunately, I think a lot of the grain, I think the key here would be to find an organic grain grower who is not using hybrid or genetically engineered seed.
There's no genetically engineered wheat commercially produced. So you're safe on that.
Are you sure?
Corn and soy.
Are almost all genetically engineered.
Canola as well. Cotton is genetically engineered. They have genetically engineered wheat, but it was never produced commercially because the farmers wouldn't grow it.
Okay. All right. That's news to me. I didn't know that.
So
I mean, I do know that the agri-giants have their greedy, sticky fingers in everything.
Yes, they do. And
I can't imagine wheat wasn't part of that. I kind of thought it was, but
it wasn't.
Okay.
It came on the scene late, and by then the farmers were realizing that the genetically modified things don't actually save them money. They just turn them into indentured servants, basically.
Got it.
Slavery again. Another form of
Read
slavery.
the 14th Amendment and understand why we actually didn't free the slaves. We just enslaved everybody.
That's going to be my homework assignment for the week.
I just printed it out for you. I know you're going to read this. Yeah. So, one other aspect to this that I think is important for people to understand is that when you're feeding your animals this, it is the entire root mass and everything. So the nutrition is so high in this that it's not something that you could even go out and buy.
Correct. It will never be commercially produced as far as, like a commodity, because it doesn't keep. It has to be fed right away. It starts losing nutrients. It doesn't ship. It doesn't. So you have this fresh, basically spring pasture, but it's even better than spring pasture because you're feeding any grain that didn't sprout has become fermented, which makes all of the nutrients more available. Mm-hmm. The root mass, which has a huge amount of nutrients. And what it does is it just unlocks all of the nutrients that are in the grain and allows the animal to use them.
Sure.
Because dry grain is only 30% digestible. So you just, if you spend...
But fodder is what?
80 to 90%.
There you
go.
So
big difference.
The other thing is people tend to get hung up on the fact that it has so much water content, not realizing that when an animal eats dry feed, they have to hydrate it before they can even digest it.
Anyway, sure.
Which pulls resources out of their body to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So this does that for them. It's already got the enzymes. It's basically half digested before it even is consumed.
Got it.
So
that's great.
Yeah, they take almost no energy. It's really good for people who have an old horse that they just can't keep weight on. It's because, first of all, they have no teeth usually, and second of all, their bodies don't break things down anymore, and this really will help.
You're not looking gift nags in the teeth, are you?
No. How about gummit? Gummit.
So the issue of one of the other things that you talked about the last time you were on the show, which I found very impressive, was the fact that this is a 6-to-1 ratio. For every pound of grain that you grow or seed that you grow, you get 6 pounds of usable fodder.
Right.
Now that to me is impressive because here you are, and just run through the numbers if you would again. What does a bag of seed cost you?
Okay, I buy my wheat from Hirsch Feed and Farm Supply. It's $10.60. So I get
and that's for a
50-pound bag.
Okay.
So I get 300 pounds of fodder at least out of that.
For less than $11.
For less than $11. So it runs.
Everybody should be rushing to their phone and computer right now who has a small self-reliance farm.
It runs 4 cents a pound, so a tray costs just under 40 cents, or right at 40 cents. That one tray will feed 40 chickens.
Holy
so for
smoke.
40 cents a day, you can feed 40 chickens or 30 rabbits with litters, or 4 full-size milking does, heavily milking goats, or 7 miniature milking goats. 1 horse. Horses are very expensive to feed. There's just no way around that.
Right.
Or a couple of hogs.
Two partridges in a pear tree.
Yeah, 2.
Wow.
Yeah. So
5 lords a leaping.
So that's
or whatever the heck it is. 5 golden rings. I'm sorry.
For 40 cents.
Yeah, you can't beat that with a lead pipe.
No.
That's outstanding. I tell you, I am so impressed with this product that I think this is the kind of thing that really could change the nature of what's going on in America, where people want to keep an animal or a set of chickens or rabbits or whatever the heck it is that is your primary interest, and you would be able to keep that right in your own backyard and produce basically enough food for you to be self-sustainable. If you combine that with what we're going to talk about in our next segment when Marjorie Wildcraft comes on, now you've got livestock and you've got produce, and literally, folks, you can get to the point where you'll hardly ever, if ever, have to go to the grocery store. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll take more information from Sherry and give her some calls.
North Korea notches up its rhetoric, declaring it's in a state of war with the South.
White House spokesman Josh Earnest said in a gaggle on board Air Force One that the U.S. has made very clear that it has the capability and willingness to protect its interests and the interests of its allies in the region.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin. Security will be heavy in downtown Memphis this afternoon.
The site for today's planned Ku Klux Klan rally. The white supremacists are protesting the renaming of 3 Confederate-themed parks in Memphis, and anti-KKK groups have also planned to rally as well. Memphis Police Director Tony Armstrong says precautions have been taken to keep everyone safe.
We just wanted to be sure that we didn't have a repeat of 1998.
Armstrong was an undercover officer with MPD during the 98 Klan rally.
Tanya J. Powers with Fox News radio affiliate WREC in Memphis. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Get a hold of Brian down at Ozark Mountain Self-Reliance. You can call him at 870-492-4030, or you can find him on the web at ozarkmtnselfreliance.com. Located a half-mile east of Walmart and Route 62 in Mountain Home. My friends over at Chantilly's Artisan Bakery at 255-2253, number 2 Evans Arcade off the square in West Plains. Best damn bakery in 100 miles. You can reach Mary at 255-2253. My friend Bill Stone over at Stone Construction at 293-0116. Whether remodeling or doing new or custom construction or light commercial, Bill's the guy for you. 293-0116. West Plains Pawn and Gun, located on Route 160, just about a mile east of Walmart on the right-hand side. westplainspawn.com. You can also reach them by a telephone at 417-256-3000. Friends over at the battery station at 303 Washington Avenue, right off the square in West Plains. You can find them on the web at batterystation.com, and you can call them at 417-257-7799. Also, don't forget to stop by Pizza Hut for an outstanding lunch special between 11 and 2. Salad and pasta all together. You can also visit them on Tuesday evenings for family night. Kids eat free under 12. And Jason over at Wits End Classic Barbershop, the sponsor of our telephone line. Make sure that you see Wits End Classic Barbershop for your next shave and a haircut. Outstanding, fine young man, and a great patriot as well. He's on the square in West Plains.
Hi, this is Sheila Murphy, store manager at Big Lots. We're located in the Southern Hills Shopping Center in West Plains, Missouri. Southern Hills is home to the best shopping establishment in South Central Missouri. Come visit some of your favorite department stores, and if a full day of shopping is on your list, there are also plenty of great places to eat when you get hungry, and they're all within walking distance. Southern Hills is the largest shopping center in the area and has everything you will be looking for. No need to leave West Plains. Stay local and shop local with Southern Hills Shopping Center. Proud to serve West Plains and the surrounding communities.
Weather is a service of News Talk 107.1 The Point. Contact Josh or Cody at 255-2548 for more information on making weather sponsorships part of your marketing plans.
From the Point Weather Center for this morning, we have a very good chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly after 8 o'clock. Patchy fog before 10. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies with a high near 57 degrees. I'm Dawn James. And for more information, visit my1071thepoint.com.
Nap Auto Parts in West Plains has this breaking news announcement. If you've got a British car and it quits, if you've got a Japanese car and it quits, if you've got a German car and it quits, come into Nap Auto Parts in West Plains, right across from the Civic Center. They speak automobile fluently. Yes, they do. And may be able to help you find the right parts to bring your car new life. Call ahead to reserve parts, 256-0131, or stop by 311 St. Louis Street, across from the Civic Center.
Okay, folks, we are returning, and we are speaking this morning with Sherry Willis. Again, Sherry is the creator and entrepreneur, inventor, and purveyor of Half-Pint-Homestead.com. That's Half Pint Homestead. She has created these fodder kits, which can reside literally in your living room. And we were just actually having a discussion off mic, which was kind of interesting, and that was the idea of providing a solar version of this so that you could literally run this pump without even plugging it in.
Right.
And or the idea that there are ways that you could probably, and you're going to work on the creativity on the side of this, of doing this where people in let's say a third world country where they don't have access to electricity at all, or would be able to do it without a pump system.
A third world country? You mean like Brooklyn?
Could be Brooklyn. You never know. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I mean, we grow fodder kits over here too. We got to feed the livestock.
Hey, I've sent some to New Jersey.
Have you?
I have.
Oi, what exit?
But the other thing is it says that it uses 30 gallons of water a week.
Right.
That's not really true because that water can be put on your garden when you're done with it.
There you go.
It has a lot of nutrients. Tomato plants and my artichoke plants love it.
So for the benefit of the listeners, this is a recapture system, folks. Here's what happens. The water trickles down through the trays, and it subsequently feeds from the top tray to the bottom tray, and then it falls into a recapture system. This recapture system then that water is loaded with nutrients during the course of the time that it's cycling through the growth cycle. At one point, you can take that out, and you can then pour that water onto your tomato plants out on your back porch in a 5-gallon bucket, and suddenly you've got these big old juicy reds that you never dreamt were possible with that tap water you've been pouring in there.
Right. Or the garden barrels that we're designing.
Or the garden barrels that she's designing. Here we go. She is like the entrepreneurial princess here, folks. She is constantly hammering away at some new creative design. I love it.
We just finished.
I want to be your director of new business.
So yeah, we're doing an instructional video. This isn't a product that I'm going to sell, but I will sell the plans and the stencil for people who don't like to do math and measuring.
That's me.
That's me.
No
too.
math.
Yeah.
But it's a garden barrel. It holds 50 plants, over 50 plants in less than 2 square feet.
Wow.
It also contains composting worms, so it's self-fertilizing.
Okay.
And I have one full of lettuce on my yard right now. So
what would be some plant examples that some folks in an urban environment, let's say an apartment in Manhattan, right?
You can plant anything you want in this. Tomatoes, basil. I'm going to do 2 whole barrels of strawberries.
Mm-hmm.
You can do lettuces. The only thing you wouldn't want to do is anything perennial.
Right.
Because it needs to renew the root system.
Sure.
And perennials tend to take over whatever available space there is.
Gotcha. And stuff like carrots and potatoes would be a little difficult just
I don't know
because
if you
of
could do
space.
Potatoes. You could definitely do carrots in the top of the barrel.
Okay.
Carrots, beets, turnips, all of those would be fine in the top of the barrel. Potatoes are a little different. There's some better ways to do potatoes.
Sure. And potatoes are pretty cheap in the store.
Yes, but
yeah,
I won't
they have
tell you
stuff
what.
in them.
Yeah,
Well,
I won't
that's
tell
true.
you what they spray on potatoes.
What do they spray on potatoes?
They have potato
Pandora's
farmers,
box opens.
Potato farmers will have a special plot of potatoes for their family.
Uh-oh.
So what does that tell you?
This is not good. This doesn't have a good ending, I can tell.
No. So the chemicals that they spray on potatoes, you have to be fully covered with a respirator while you're spraying them.
Oh, nice.
So
this makes me want to go right out and buy a bag of potatoes. Idaho's best.
It sounds like we ought to use them for missiles instead of food.
But yes, the fact that a lot of potato farmers have a special plot of potatoes that they feed their family is, that's a little scary.
That's like if you go to the Chinese restaurant and the people that work there, they're all eating the food that they make there, then that's a good sign, okay?
Right.
They're eating their own, okay? But if they're not eating the food that they're putting out on the buffet out there,
yeah, it's probably not for you.
That's what we call a hint.
Right.
It's a clue.
Well, they consider us grazing on their fodder.
Right. So, the fun thing is that's okay, but raw milk, deadly. It's okay according to the FDA to spray things on food that you have.
We can irradiate anything we want, but God forbid you have some of that raw milk and you're a felon.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely amazing.
So,
yeah.
Strange.
But they're protecting us from ourselves.
I know.
And we need it because we're so incompetent and so incapable and so stupid and such cattle led around by the nose ring. Yeah, right. The only nose ring, who's got control of that nose ring is the USDA, the FDA.
I thought it was the IRS.
The milk, well, that's who's got the ring in our wallet.
But
that's the wallet
none
ring.
of those, organizations have any representation either.
Right.
For
They're
the power,
agencies.
Yeah, they're not.
Don't get me started on
government.
administrative agencies. I did a 4-day special on administrative agencies.
You know.
We'll be here till tonight.
Oh, my gosh. We'll be here till next week.
I hate administrative
And
agencies.
then the other thing I'd like to mention is we're starting to sell microgreen kits, and I brought you some microgreens
Yes.
to
And
try.
I did. I went and I got myself some tuna salad, and I put those microgreens in there, and I kind of stirred it up, and then I just ate it without bread or anything because, I'm trying
It was so good.
I got this spare tire I would love to get rid of, and it was delicious.
So what about the microgreen kit?
Well, the microgreen kit.
They taste nutty, by the way, folks.
It's really interesting. It's kind of like sprouts, but they're older and taller, and it's much easier to grow even than fodder. It's a 12-day cycle, and you just sprinkle your seeds in there every other day, and you get a full tray every other day for salads and sandwiches.
Yep. And Sherry bought me a little. They're about 4 inches tall, maybe 4.5 inches tall, and she brought me some in a plastic bag, and I literally was just chewing on them. And then when I got my tuna fish later, I mixed it in there, and it was delicious.
So that's like the food doesn't get any fresher than that.
No,
you just clip it as you eat. As you need it, you just clip it out of the tray.
Wow.
I mean, it was very good, and it tastes kind of a little nutty. I guess that's the kind of the
Which
example
isn't
I would give.
what you would think of for broccoli and cauliflower and
right.
kale, but
without the stuff sprayed on it.
Right,
and
because
and you know what's in it, right?
That come with the kit will come with seeds and everything you need. And
by the way, if your livestock is you can also take this wheatgrass and juice it, because I've heard from a number of people who are juicers, and they say that this wheatgrass that you're growing for your fodder kits is the most nutritious. It is like that's the golden chalice for the juicer crowd.
It's one.
I don't drink that kind of juice. I don't know, but
one DNA short of blood plasma is what it is.
One chromosome short of blood plasma.
So
really,
that's incredible.
That is incredible. So, by the way, what's also incredible is that margarine is 1 molecule away from plastic.
That's not incredible. Have you ever put margarine outside? It just sits there.
You can put margarine on your garage floor where it's protected from sunlight, so it won't melt, and ants won't eat it.
That's another.
It'll be
clue.
there a year from now in its little rectangular form.
Right.
In law enforcement, we call that a clue.
Right.
Even rats don't like it.
If the insects won't eat it, that's a clue.
There you go. 1 molecule away from plastic. So wheatgrass is great for juicing because it really gives. It's got such a high nutritional value and content, and so you don't have to necessarily have livestock to buy one of these kits. If you're just a juice fanatic, this is a perfect way to go.
Well, and the micro kit is a 4x8 container, so that would be great if you're just one person juicing, because you really only want to drink 2 ounces a day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You mean of wheatgrass juice? 2 ounces a day? That's it? Mm-hmm. What happens if you drink more?
You get healthy.
Well, something like that.
Or something. I don't know. You probably, you got green growing out of the top of your head instead of hair.
The words detox would.
Oh.
Okay.
Really?
So, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can actually have too much wheatgrass.
Oh, yes.
Really?
Oh, yes. And it's a miserable experience.
It appears that you've done this.
Yes.
I gotcha. All right, folks. Let me give the information out one more time on Sherry's website and how you can reach her. It's Sherry Willis, and that's SHERRY. Now, you can call Sherry at 417-255-0722. You can also find Sherry on the web at half-pinthomestead.com. And you can reach her via email at Sherry, that's SHERRY, at half, like half a loaf of bread, put in a dash or a hyphen, pint, like a pint of beer, homestead.com. So it's Sherry at halfpinthomestead.com. It's also www.halfpinthomestead.com. And Sherry is, again, the phone number is 417-255-0722. I strongly encourage you to get out here and visit her website, figure out how you can utilize this to take care of yourself, your family, and your livestock. And I think you'll find that this is a project and a product very worth your while. Not only that, but you'll be doing yourself a favor by knowing exactly what is in your or your family's or your livestock's food supply. So, Sherry, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you coming in today.
Well, I finally remembered. So.
Wow. Okay, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and Sherry has been a great asset to our program. She came in during the week. She did stand me up one day and last weekend, but she came in today and she brought me some greens to make up for it. So I forgive her.
Food is always a good.
Well, this is an early morning show, so I don't blame you. I would love to sleep through it myself. Some days I do. Hey, folks, we'll be back in just a moment.
The area's best selection of firearms and ammunition can only be found at West Plains Pawn and Jewelry. Top-of-the-line handguns from Kimber, Smith & Wesson, Ruger, Glock, Beretta, and many more. A wide selection of ammunition, including blanks, centerfire handgun and rifle, rimfire, a variety of shotgun shells, target, and turkey. With new arrivals every week, the area's best selection of firearms and ammunition can only be found at West Plains Pawn and Jewelry, 1713 West U.S. Highway 160, or shop online at westplainspawn.com.
I know what you're thinking, Bunk. You're thinking, did he fire 6 shots or only 5?
Dirty Harry gets all his ammo from the battery station. John Rambo, you guessed it. He gets his ammo from the battery station, too. So if you need ammo, go to the place where the guys who know about ammunition go, the battery station. They have one of the largest supplies of ammunition in the area. So make sure you're stocked up and don't get low on shells. Go to the battery station at 303 Washington Avenue in West Plains.
Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and the Donut Palace is open at 5 a.m. every day.
The best donuts made fresh daily like Long John's, Eclairs, Bear Claws, and old-fashioned donuts. Try a hot and fresh bacon, egg, and cheese croissant or a kolache sandwich for breakfast and pair it up with some Starbucks coffee.
Start your morning right with the Donut Palace. And for the busy people, the drive-thru can get you your order even quicker. Located at 914 Broadway in West Plains, the Donut Palace, where the customer is still king.
There's one man on this earth who really, truly gets it.
By the way, what the hell is he doing in the Middle East? Making a complete ass out of himself. What is the point of this visit? To say he visited? It's an embarrassment. He goes into these places, he's a cult figure in the United States, and so he goes to these places and he figures he's gonna talk these people into admiring him and whatever comes out of his mouth. No, it only works that way here.
Mark Levin is on the radio.
Weeknights 5 to 8 on the Ozarks Best News Talk.
Hey, America, we're back. You're listening to America's Voice Now. We just had Sherry Willis on the line with us, and Sherry is the creator and the inventor of the Half Pint Homestead kits. And so Sherry was kind enough to come in and have a discussion with us about her products. And we've had her on the show before. She is just kicking butt and taking names with this little business, and I am so impressed with it. And I know that she has just begun the growth spurt that she's going to see in her business, because this is not only unique, but it's something that the world is desperately in need of. And we're not just talking about in foreign countries. We're talking about right here in America. You have an opportunity to take this product and literally produce either in your suburban area, if you want to have some rabbits out there, some chickens, one goat. You just want to get some goat's milk for your own family. This is the perfect solution for you. And 2 goats, right? Because it'll feed more than one, right? You can't have just one goat.
You can't have just one goat. They're not happy by themselves. So
okay. Well, that's a social issue. I don't care about the social issue. I'm goat politically incorrect.
Well, but socially, your neighbors will not be happy with you if you just have one goat.
I gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, then get a goat, and I don't care what you do. Whatever it is that you decide to ultimately do, this thing feeds your chickens, your rabbits, your goats, your pigs, your horses, your whatever, right? Your cow. So the object here is, folks, make sure that you participate with Sherry in this program, because you will definitely benefit from it. And in addition to that, you'll help out a great young lady who has really come up with a great entrepreneurial concept and has a gift for invention. Her name is Sherry Willis. Her phone number is 417-255-0722. Her website is www.half-pinthomestead.com. So that's half, H-A-L-F, put in a hyphen, pinthomestead.com. You can also reach her at Sherry at halfpinthomestead.com or half-pinthomestead.com. Okay, we're going to have Marjorie Wildcraft coming on with us in a few minutes. I did want to make a quick announcement this morning in reference to our concealed carry class and also our reloading class that are going to be taking place this morning. And since it is now 8 o'clock, this is your last chance to make sure that you are going to be attending either or both. Well, you can't attend both, either of those. And here's what the details are. If you are going to attend the concealed carry class, then you need to make sure that you're in West Plains by 9 o'clock this morning. And what you're going to be doing is going to Washington Avenue, and you're going to go to the building on Washington Ave that is run by the Ozarks Medical Center's foundation building. They have a room that they rent out there, and you're going to call 270-1053, and you're going to have to do that in the next 15 or 20 minutes in order to participate in this. Again, that's 417-270-1053. The cost for you to take this class is $50 if you bring your own pistol and your own ammunition. You'll need 140 rounds. If you're going to use his, the cost is $60. Yes, that's right. You heard me. $60, and he will include the ammunition and the pistols on a loaner basis just for you to qualify and take the concealed carry course. People, you cannot find anybody who's going to teach this course for that kind of money, much less lend you their gun to do it. So if you have ever considered, getting your concealed carry, today's the day, now's the time, right? This is the take action part.
$60, man, what a deal!
$60,
can't beat it.
I mean, it's 22, but who cares? All you have to do is qualify, right? You have to take there's a portion of the class that is classroom time. It's mandated by the state. You have to go through and watch a video and take this
right.
But after that, you go out to the range. You do your pop, 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 pop. Good, you're good to go as long as you keep him in the ring.
But $60, I mean, that's how much a brick of 22s costs you now.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
So even if you don't have a gun, this is plus. And if you don't have a gun and you've always wanted one, this is a great opportunity for you to go out there and shoot a little bit and maybe
take a test drive.
Take a test drive. Ask some questions to some other folks that are going to be in the class that do have weapons. Find out what works for them. 22 has no recoil. They're quiet. They're comfortable to shoot. They're a lot of fun to plink with. And they're relatively inexpensive to shoot, even in this day and age of no ammunition, which is a segue that leads me into my second class today, and that is the reloading class. Now, if you have the desire to learn how to reload your own metallic cartridges, today is the day, now is the time. You have until 9 o'clock to get to West Plains, and there's going to be a class that runs at 1378 Bill Verdon Boulevard is what they call it. So you can type that into your GPS. It's called 1378 Bill Verdon, V-I-R-D-O-N, Boulevard. And that is actually an extension of Broadway. So if you're on Broadway in West Plains and you go right past the Civic Center, and then you go past the Head Start building, and then you get just before you get to the Catholic Church there, it's on in a strip mall complex there called Eastgate Village. And it's on the right side and of the strip of stores. And you can go in there. Heroes Coffee is in that same complex. So if you've ever been to Heroes Coffee, when they have great coffee, by the way.
Good soup, too.
Good soup, too, yeah. You can get into that class. Now, the cost of that is $100. And when you walk out of there, you will have everything that you need to. And you're going to actually do some hands-on loading of cartridges today. So the cool part is, this isn't just going to be academic book learning, right? You're actually going to load some cartridges. And so for safety's sake, I think we will probably skip the actual powder, or maybe we'll use something alternative, or inert or something. But the idea is that you are going to actually physically learn how to reload, and then you're going to learn what resources you need to go forward and build your own reloading bench. And as we talked about earlier, the benefit of a reloading bench is simply this. One, you can load ammo when no one else has any commercially, and we all know what that's like. I mean, cops are actually swapping between law enforcement A and police department B. They're actually trading .40 and 9 caliber amongst themselves, just trying to keep their officers in ammunition. Yeah, how ridiculous is that?
Yeah, but the Department of Homeland Security has plenty of ammunition.
Well, they've got enough to kill us all about 8 times now. And when Congress asked, actually, there's over 15 congressmen who have asked the Department of Homeland Security to explain their ammunition purchase. And you know what Janet Napolitano said to them? It's really none of your business.
Yeah, who me? It's like Alfred E. Newman, who me?
It's really none of your business. Can you believe that? I mean, that is, to me, that's actually borders on malfeasance.
It's not truculent, but the word arrogance comes to mind.
It's malfeasance. Actually, the word treason comes to mind for me, but that's okay.
But if you learn to reload, then you'll have your own ammo.
Well, the beautiful part about reloading is that you can load your own ammo, and you can load as much or as little as you like. If you are a person who really takes accuracy seriously, you will never find, by the way, a guy who is a bench shooter or who is a heavy target shooter who does not reload. And the reason for that is this. And I explained it with an analogy earlier in the last segment. Here's what it is. You can go out and you can go to Kmart and you can buy a suit, right? Or JCPenney or any other place you want. That suit will fit you, but it won't be a perfect fit for you because they build them they're all the same, and we're not all built the same. So you can do the same thing with ammo. You can go out there and you can buy a box of ammo produced by a factory, and they're all the same. However, your gun is as individual as you. That barrel has certain characteristics, and it has certain imperfections that are almost microscopic in their nature. And what you can do by reloading is actually build a custom load for your gun. And you try different powder grain weights, and you try different powder brands, and you try different bullet weights. And before you know it, you come up with the magical formula, the equation, the mathematical equation that says this bullet weight plus this powder amount equals this kind of accuracy. And guess what? It's repeatable over and over and over.
You know, the people that are going to this class are going to learn so much stuff that at the end of the day, their head is going to hurt.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons, and that's, by the way, one of the reasons why I say if you can take this class with a spouse or a partner or a buddy or something like that, do that, because the benefit is you both walk out of there and, you know how we are as humans, right? We each learn something different. Like you remember something that I forgot or didn't even notice, right? And then when we're sitting down at the loading bench, you're like, wait. Don't you remember the guy said, don't do that? Or, hey, remember we're supposed to do this before we do that.
Yeah.
So, the benefit of, and by the way, the same thing with concealed carry and our tactical class that occurs April 6th and 7th. That is a 2-day course, and you've got to take that course because it is serious kick-butt pistol craft. This is a 2-day TAC 1 course, and with it, in that course, you will learn how to carry, how to present the weapon, how to keep it concealed. You'll also learn how to change your grip to make your shooting much more accurate. You'll learn how to present the weapon. You'll learn how to do speed loads and tactical loads. What's the difference between those? What's the difference between cover and concealment? How do you shoot prone, standing, kneeling? Whether you do strong hand or weak hand shooting, right? What happens if your right hand is disabled? Can you handle that pistol and manipulate it with your left?
Only.
Well, if you're a lefty, what are you going to do if you got to shoot righty?
Yeah. Well, and that comes under that banner, too. Everybody has Second Amendment rights. That comes under that banner of along with the rights comes
the
duties
responsibilities.
And responsibilities.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? You have a responsibility. I don't care. I've used this analogy before, too. You wouldn't go and get your concealed carry permit and then carry a gun and never practice with it. That would be the equivalent of you getting a license to fly a Cessna and then deciding that you're going to go get in a 747 5 years afterwards and never having flown in since, and you're going to jump in the cockpit of a 747 and try to take off. How stupid would that be? I think you get the point. Folks, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Ms. Marjorie Wildcraft, and she'll join us this morning to basically kind of bring us up to speed on her initiative. She has actually 2 websites out there. One is called GrowYourOwnGroceries.com, and the other is MarjorieWildcraft.com. It's MarJory, by the way. Okay, we're going to take a break. When we return, Marjorie will be with us. She may be a few minutes after 8, and we'll try to make sure that we have an opportunity to take your calls and give her information out as well. We'll be back in just a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen,
this is KBMV Birch Tree is the Ozarks best news talk, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Fox News Radio. I'm Chris Foster.
The North Korean government says any interaction with South Korea will be treated as if they're at war, which they technically have been for more than 60 years. Journalist Alex Jensen in Seoul, South Korea, says it's being treated as so much bluster from North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
It's absolutely business as usual, and you'd be forgiven for thinking that it was just a normal day without any such declarations from North Korea. So really, we're seeing those kinds of nervous statements coming from official sources, and they make very good headlines. But I would urge anyone thinking that this peninsula is on the verge of war to really assess why we're hearing these things coming out of North Korea and look really between the lines, because I don't think there's anyone here who seriously thinks that we're about to be struck by missiles.
The North Koreans responding to the joint military exercises between the South and the United States, including B-2 stealth bomber runs. President Obama is wishing Americans a joyful Easter in his weekly message, saying the value of loving our neighbors is at the heart of all faiths.
From Judaism to Islam, Hinduism to Sikhism, there echoes a powerful call to serve our brothers and sisters, to keep in our hearts a deep and abiding compassion for all, and to treat others as we wish to be treated ourselves.
The Republican weekly message from Nebraska Congressman Lee Terry, pushing for approval of the Keystone oil pipeline.
Keystone is primed to give our economy a shot in the arm and make energy more affordable. And it won't cost the taxpayers a dime.
The pipeline would bring oil from Western Canada down to refineries in Texas. An apparent murder-suicide in Las Vegas. 2 people are dead, 1 hospitalized with a gunshot wound. Everybody else in that apartment complex was sent to a nearby school for the night. Police are not saying what the relationship between those 3 people may have been. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Fox News Early Prime, breaking down business news and its impact on your bottom line. Your World with Neil Cavuto.
That's how I do business. That's why I am business.
Bold positions and brash opinions on the topics America is buzzing about. The Five.
How do you think this will set in with the American people?
This will be the pulse of the nation.
Washington insight and political know-how from the best in the Beltway. Special report with Brett Bay.
The epicenter of the political world is here.
The #1 place for fair and balanced coverage. Fox News Channel.
What's wrong with working hard to make our lives and our kids' lives better? Nothing. At Fox Business, we don't have a problem with success. We have a very big problem with those who get in the way of it. We don't come out of the box bashing those who make money, just the politicians stealing it and the bureaucracies wasting it. We're not just sitting behind a desk. We're out in the field, on the floor, with the folks. Because when a story moves forward, so do we.
Fox Business, the power to prosper. Check your local listings.
A new drug for...
At American Family Insurance, we believe in families. We also believe that every family is unique and deserves protection tailored to suit their needs. American Family Insurance agent Barb Middleton is ready to give a no-obligation personal insurance review for the confidence and security to secure your dreams at no cost to you. Call American Family Insurance today, 256-7155, or visit amfam.com for more information. When family is your #1 priority, let agent Barb Middleton help you find the protection for everything that matters to you most.
The Donut Palace in West Plains, where the customer is still king. If you're a school group, church group, sports team, or any group function, book it with the Donut Palace. Order 24 hours in advance and at least 3 dozen to receive 10% off your bill, and you won't have the burden of paying tax either. Open 7 days a week from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sundays when they close at 1. Call today 417-256-0606 to have delicious hot and fresh donuts at your next meeting. Located at 914 Broadway in West Plains, the Donut Palace.
Weather sponsorships are now available on News Talk 107.1 The Point. Get more information. Email info@diamondmediaradio.com for complete details.
From the Point Weather Center for this morning, we have a very good chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly after 8 o'clock. Patchy fog before 10. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies with a high near 57 degrees. I'm Dawn James. And for more information, visit my1071thepoint.com.
If you or someone you know is among the millions of Americans with migraine, there's new information you need to know to help prevent these horrible headaches. New guidelines from the American Academy of Neurology and the American Headache Society find certain seizure drugs along with certain beta blockers are effective for preventing migraine attacks. Over-the-counter drugs including ibuprofen and naproxen, as well as some herbal remedies may also help. For a complete list of treatments recommended, visit AAN.com.
It's about the restoration of our republic. We want to educate, encourage, enable the power